saying, look at Sean Payton's draft picks during his time with the Saints. A lot of great offensive linemen were drafted in the later rounds. I'm wondering if he was behind those or the GM. It's a combo. I mean, it's never just one person. And I do think Sean Payton has a great system that sets up offensive linemen. I think it also did help having Drew Brees, who had a very quick release. He was not holding on to that ball very long. It's kind of like when Peyton Manning was here and everybody's like, oh, look how great the Broncos offensive line is. Well, it's a combination of the two. You know, they had some good players because they had like Ryan Clady. Ramirez was another one that I kind of remember during that time. Vasquez, that's the one I was thinking. Sorry, not Ramirez.
You had to mention Manny Ramirez, and I think that's like going to trigger all the Bronco fans remembering that snap over Peyton's head.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Vasquez is who I was thinking about. My bad, everyone. But you know, you had some pretty good players during that time. Even Orlando Franklin. I'm still a little bit frustrated at them moving him inside, all because he had a really bad Super Bowl. I'm like, everybody had a bad Super Bowl. We over panicked that whole situation. It just is a bad day. But yeah, I do think Sean Payton's system sets up well to give offensive linemen a good chance to have success.
And on that note it's a lot of both, unless there are some guys that are like, this is definitely the coach's guy. Montrell Washington was a pick of Dwayne Stukes, right? That was the former special. That was his dude. So they wouldn't got him. That happens sometimes, but a lot of it is both working in unison. And that was the way it was there in New Orleans for a long time. And one thing with it is I have a concern with Sean Payton and his passing scheme and adapting it to Russell Wilson. But he has shown that he can adapt his running game to the running backs and offensive line. Yeah. So he doesn't really pigeonhole himself into just like one type of offensive lineman, because he has shown he can work around it. And I think that also helps him finding offensive line guys, because we're not trying to take a square peg and shove it into a round hole. We're going to adapt. If we're running an outside zone scheme and this guy doesn't have that lateral ability to move for an outside zone scheme, we're not going to have a move. We're going to design a run play to where he doesn't have to be that main mover, that the lead block puller. Like, that's one thing that I do really like about Sean Payton, and why I have always highly respected his ability to be an offensive minded coach.